Absurd defiance ends here, hatchling.
Hello everyone, my name is Pal and I'd like to walk you through my Risk Runner Flicker Strike for 3.26 Mercenary League. So here's my character, t17 Enjoyer, a Slayer, and let's run it down. First is the main piece, Forbidden Shaco, added Lightning 34 and Vile Toxin. Vile Toxin, you just need chance to poison on your build, and it's about level 6 is about 30% more, so it's a usable 6 snake. And here we have Flicker Strike, Awaken Multi-Strike, Volatility, and Endurance Charge and Mean Stun. For the weapon, we have a foil with flat added lightning, chosen lightning, you can go LM Ben, hits can't be evaded, attack speed, crit chance, crit multi. And for the shield, we have PDR, lightning res, +2 to all max res, life, lightning as extra chaos. For our amulet, we have focused amulet, +1 to all skill gem, lightning damage to attacks, and crit multi. For our ring, we have +1 frenzy charge, T1 life, random prefix, non-channeling, crit multi, attack speed, and +1 to minimum endurance charge, and the Calandra touch on the other side. For our armor, we have +2 to all max res, and melee hits have chance to fortify for our fortify source. Chance to avoid elemental ailments and avoid being stunned. Maximum life T1, crafted percent life. T1 suppress, reduce extra damage from critical strikes per endurance charge, and T1 PDR. For our gloves, we have Admiral's Arrogance with +1 frenzy charge and +2 Mage Blood. And finally, Dark Ray Vectors with movement speed and suppress spell damage. So for our charges, we currently have 13 maximum frenzy charges and 12 minimum endurance charges without Ralakesh. So for our flasks, before we go to the tree and the jewels, we have the Quicksilver, Diamond, Silver Flask, Bottled Fate. You can swap it for Wine of the Prophet when running maps, it's better. And Amethyst Flask with crit chance. And for our tree, we are running first Caspiro. That's why we have no stats and bunch of tattoos here. For our Watcher's Eye, we are running crit chance rat and damage pen rat, double rat. And for our, we actually do not run rat. I forgot the gem, so I'm sorry. Tempest Shield, Enlighten, Sigil of Power, Grace, Arctic Armor, and Herald of Ice. So we are only running one aura because we're running Sublime Vision for a +1 maximum frenzy charge. For our weapon is Sleep Slam, faster attacks, momentum. Here it's an open slot, Blood Rage and Frenzy of Onslaught. I swapped this gem in for Flicker Strike when the map has steel charges, and I put it on my spacebar so I can generate frenzy charges when I run out. Very rarely happens, but it happens. Here we have Automation, Life Tap, Berserk, Steel Skin, and finally Assassin's Mark, Life Tap, Mark on Hit, and an open socket. And back to the tree. Okay, we have Watcher's Eye with Wrath. Even though we do not have Wrath, our Merc does, which triggers our Watcher's Eye. So please take note. And moving here, we have our first cluster. Feed the Fury, Drive the Destruction, Martial Prowess with Res. And here we have First to Strike, Last to Fall from the Champion. Moving on, remember the tattoos, these are all fire resistance. Then here, going to the decks, we have cold resistance. We have Supreme Ego for here. So for our Caspiro, which is 18640, we are allocating 5 notables, which are 10% increased damage per endurance, per crit multi, per frenzy, and avoid being chilled. Since we have around 13 maximum, that's about 390% increased damage, 40% crit multi, and 80% chance to avoid being chilled, which caps out our chill resistance. So here's the socket, and for the masteries, and for the first side, we have monsters cannot block your attacks. This is for rolling monsters block. Non-vol strike skills is a better clearing skill, but cannot block is mandatory. And here we have chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit a unique enemy. Just a bit of sustain for single target. increased charge duration to counter the Dark Ray vectors. And moving on here, we have another Devastator, Feed the Fury, Chaos Rest, and Smite the Weak. And for our jewels, we have Sublime Vision for the +1 Frenzy, and Grace. For our build, we are not focusing on our armor and evasion. It is totally useless because we are mostly running no defense maps. So I don't mind the bases or the armor or the quality here. And here we have Rune Graft of Treachery, 15% RMR, and also affect enemies. So it affects enemies with grace. Since we have kits can't be evaded, it has no downside. So it's free 15% RMR. Going up, we have chance to avoid being stunned. And here we have a Light of Meaning, and it's about 4% guess rest per node. So here we have 76. If I remove it, it becomes 16, so it's about 60. I am actually undercapped on Chaos Rest. This is supposed to be around 79, and I'll get to that later on. Just need a bit of minor upgrades from the jewels and whatnot. I'm going up, and here we have gain 1 Val Soul per second, and this is somewhat, you can try and do whatever you like with this. You can unspec it either way. Here we have chance to suppress spell damages lucky. For our suppress, we have 76 plus lucky. You can go 100% if you like, but it's not mandatory. And here we path here to Supreme Ostentation for the attribute requirements. Here we have the Leech and Frenzy Charge. And here we have our 3 Grand Spectrum of minimum endurance charges. So these 3 will take us from around minimum endurance charge to around maybe I think 3, because we have 2 from the ring and 1 from the tree, Disciple of the Unyielding here. So here we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 times 3, so it's about 9. Using these 3 jewels, we can skip the Ralakesh and go to a better option, which is Dark Ray Vectors, which has more attack speed, more damage, and it's just better. It's also +1 endurance charge, so it's more tankiness. And finally, for our jewel here, it's that Rational Doctrine. This is why our stats is 94, 94, 88. To balance our stats easily, we use Caspiro so that we don't have to have heavy dexterity because we're on the lower right side of the tree, and just use quality on your mage blood and run a few. If you can't balance it out, just run a few cluster jewels with some minor resistances. Oh, and please don't forget this 30 int if you're running a non-corrupted mage blood. If you're running corrupted mage blood, I think you can skip the 30 int and just remove a few int nodes here. Just balance the tattoos, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. And wait, I forgot my merc. Okay, onto the merc. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've had the merc. So for our merc is our infamous Storm Hand with Rat and Proximity Shield, and a Sigil of Power, which we cannot even proc because we almost have no mana cost. This is, by the way, a level 1 Sigil of Power. Do not level this skill. You cannot proc the additional stages if you level it up more. So for our merc, we have Accumulator 1 with Rat 40% increased aura effect and 20% increased cast speed. So these are the only 2 important mods. The rest are not relevant. So on an Accumulator 1, gaining 2 endurance charge, Frenzy or Power every 6 seconds. So times 2, this is about 4 charges every 6 seconds. And about 30 seconds in the map, your merc will be running with full charges of all charges. So Crown of the Tyrant, for added lightning damage, this has a blue socket. And for our chest is Dorian's Prototype, Double Corrupted, can be any mod. For our gloves, it's just Fire Cold, Regen, Flat Life, Intimidate, and Pierce. For our belt, Mortal Flesh. Boots is Fire Cold, Movement Speed, Life, Action Speed, Life Regen. Amulet, this is very important. Perkle Stow with Rat increased aura effect and influence for around 32% increased aura effect of Rat. And nearby allies damage with hits is lucky. We're running volatility support, so on an added lightning damage, our damage range is extremely high. So Perkle Stow is about 30% more damage roughly. For our left ring, we're running an Apocalypse Gyre Shadowed Ring, which lightning damage from hits taken as cold on our left ring slot. This makes our Merc quite tanky even while running negative 108 resistance. You can swap this out to a higher negative res ring so that you can have more damage, but your Merc might be softer. And finally, Original Sin. This is to counter Elemental Reflect. This might be the only way to counter Elemental Reflect while running Doriani's prototype, unless you're running a negative lightning res with negative reflect ring that I cannot even see in the market. This is not the cheapest but the easiest solution. And finally, that's it. Thank you for watching my video, and see you on the next video.